Hi, and welcome to Book Impressions. In this episode, I will give you my impression of the book Pistol Daisy by author Natalia Lee. Okay, let's look at our book cover, and it's a beautiful book cover. I always say when you have an image that is centered and very sharp and clear, it really does make that book cover pop. And I have to assume that Pistol Daisy is this character. I also like this book cover because a lot of times when you have a lot of text on a book, sometimes it can overtake the book, and you sometimes feel like the author's trying to tell the story on their book cover. But in this case, the person who actually laid out this book cover, they did a really good job of not making me feel that way. It's very well balanced, and because of that, I don't feel overwhelmed by all this text. So that's great. And like I say, the photo's wonderful. But let's find out what the blurb says about this book. It says, the year is 1880, and outlaw gangs from the West. When Daisy Allen's family is brutally murdered by the infamous Hopkins gang, she's left with two options: drown in a bottle of whiskey and grief, or saddle up and hunt the killers down. Accompanied by strangers in pursuit of the same outlaws, Daisy takes to the Colorado plains with an old revolver and a hunger for revenge. But the Hopkins gang isn't easily found, and as their pockets run dry and the trail goes cold, Daisy and her companions may be at the end of the road. She must learn how to survive in this dangerous world of outlaws and gunslingers, or her only chance at avenging her family may be lost. Don't miss Whiskey City, the next book in the Daisy Cutthroat quest for revenge. So we learned that Pistol Daisy actually is a series, and we see it also on the book. It says book 1. And I guess Whiskey City is book 2, so be prepared for a series if you take on this book. Currently, as of January 26th of 2022, it is on Kindle for $2.99, and there's a paperback for $9.99. This is kind of a small book. It is a print length of 149 pages. It's in English. It was published on June 9th of 2020, so it's been out a little while. Let's look at her rating. She has 143 rating reviews, so that's pretty good. Let's see how she's doing. It's a 4.7 out of 5 stars, which is really great. Let's see, in 5 stars, there's 73%, which means a lot of people like this book. 4 stars, 22%, 3 stars, 5%, 0% is under 2 stars, so there's no 2 stars. 1 star is 1%. So let's go look at some of our headlines in these stars. Let's look at the 5 stars first, see what people are saying in their headlines. Okay. 5 stars. Gah, so flipping good. Pistol Daisy started my summer off right. One hell of a read. This one says, it's so good. Entertaining young adult read. So it's a young adult book. Quick, amazing read. So it must have good pacing. A perfect start to a promising series. Okay, let's look at 4 stars. A gripping, fast-paced Western. So they say the pacing is good. A Western anyone would love. Descriptive and compelling. Oh, Pistol Daisy. Great cast of characters and very engaging story will suck you in. Can't wait for Whiskey City. I recommend this if you're looking into diving into a woman-driven Western story. Okay. I can't wait for book 2. This was such a great read. Can't wait for the next one. Okay, well, I hope the next one's out, because if not, Natalia Lee needs to work harder because these people are waiting for it. Okay, let's look for 3 stars. These are where we find our constructive criticism. People can't decide whether they like it or not. Okay, not much happened. So obviously they don't realize there's a series. This one says exciting, so I find this really interesting. And I'm going to read this one. It says, really exciting, fun read. If you love Westerns, it would be a 5-star. I will buy the sequel when it comes out. So she's kind of like in the 3 stars, and she's saying, but if you love Westerns, you'd probably give it a 5 star. So interesting. There's no 2 stars, so let's go to the 1 star. This is usually people who don't read in your genre. And it says 1 star, not a story. They don't realize there's some more of the story. Okay. They probably, if they read the next book, they might think there is more of a story. It's hard to say. Okay, let's find out about Natalia Lee. Okay, because let's see if Whiskey City is out, because this was done in 2020. Okay, I'm not seeing it, so let's go into her autobiography and see if we can find out what's going on with Whiskey City. It looks like she's got a few other books, though. But I don't see anything that says Whiskey City on it. Okay, this must be a picture of Natalia Lee. She's got 4 books, none of them say Whiskey City. These other ones, Song of the Dryad, Highborn, and Way of Spear, makes me think she's a fantasy writer, but this is a Western, so she obviously is mixing her genres, so be careful when you're out here looking for a book, because some of it's fantasy and some of it's a Western. So when authors mix subject matters, you got to be careful. It can oftentimes be confusing to readers, but it looks like she has some kind of a blog. But let's read her autobiography about Natalia Lee. Natalia Lee graduated from Colorado State University with a bachelor's degree in English and a concentration in creative writing. She owns an indie publishing house called Enchanted Ink Publishing. So that means she owns her own publishing company. Hey, I give her all kinds of applause. Where she offers copy editing, book design, and more. Okay, must be busy. When not writing, Natalia can usually be found eating vegan pizza, drinking tea, or playing video games. You can visit her at www.natalialee.com. And maybe if you go to her website, you'll find out what's going on with Whiskey City. But I'm sure if she's running her own publishing house, she might not have time to be writing Whiskey City. I hope she does, because she's got a venue of readers who are chomping at the bit to read this book. Anyway, I will list Pistol Daisy down in the description, and you can just click on it and come over here if you're interested in this book or any of her other books. And if you like content like this, I hope you will consider subscribing to this channel. And with all that in mind, this is Book Impressions. Until next time, signing off.